Hello there, friends. It is December 27th, 2021, and we are continuing our replay of some of the oldie goodie episodes of the Health and Fitness Motivation Podcast. Today, I bring you a really cool episode, and it's the Slowpoke's Guide to Completing Your First 5K. This is one of those episodes that I put way too much work and planning into, but it resulted in a really awesome episode. And so this episode is for anybody who has ever dreamed about that question, could I actually complete a 5K? And so I go into that nitty-gritty detail of answering all the questions that somebody who's brand new to the concept of a 5K, to what they need to know in order to feel confident they can complete it, but not just complete it, but complete it without being the very last one, or complete it without having the race end before they get to the finish line. Because I'm all about embracing your reality, but man, nobody wants to run a 5K and be like, sorry, ma'am, you're so slow. You didn't even make it till we closed the race down, So that's what this episode is. It's a Slowpoke's Guide to Your First 5K. Enjoy it and dream about completing your first 5K race. But I made Lori kind of nervous because we get to the start line and I was just having some GI issues, and I was in that porta potty line like 3 times. And the third time I went to the porta potty line before the event happened, my friend Lori looked at me and wearing her skirt. She said, "Are you going to be okay?" And I looked at her and said, "I don't know. We'll find out."
Finally, get back to a life with exercise. And this is your first step. We're going to start getting you moving. I'm Lindbergh, your bad couch guru.
Have you ever looked at 5K races or 5K fun runs and said to yourself, I know I would never be able to do something like that. And even if I could, I know I would hate it and it would be no fun at all. Is that you? All right. Today, we are going to take a real pragmatic look at 5Ks that are out there, because there's all kinds of them, and get you out of the realm of thinking you know what you know about these 5K races and really concretely giving you what you need to know if you really would hate these races or if you really couldn't do them. And of course, my not so hidden agenda is at the end of this, you'll say to yourself, oh, maybe this would be fun, or maybe I actually could try. I'm not going to do a pep talk. Anybody and everybody can do a 5K. Yes, I believe they're more accessible than people realize, but I also know that they are an investment of time and money, and the last thing you want to do is get up at the butt crack of dawn for one of these events and find out it wasn't the thing for you. So today we are going to demystify all things 5K events and see how close you are to the start line. Before we get started, all of my high achievers out there, which I know is most of you because I'm a high achiever, so I tend to attract high achieving people around me. 5 couch stacked of points go to you if right now you get on your phone or your computer and you do a Google search of this keyword, 5K events near me. It's the number 5, the letter K, events near me. Do that search while you're listening to this podcast. By the end of this podcast, you could decide you want to try a 5K. In fact, you could even be signed up for your first 5K before you're done listening to this. And find a 5K event near you. And as I go through the information, you can even validate if what I'm saying is real or total bogus or not, right? But of course, it's not going to be total bogus for the most part. Alrighty. Then at the very end of this podcast, I'm going to tell you about one other special event that I am not being paid or sponsored to talk about at all. But if you decide, you know what, a 5K isn't even the thing for me, there is something else that truly is for everybody that I will be at this June that I'll tell you about at the end. What this podcast is not talking through the Couch to 5K program. Couch to 5K is different from Couch to Active. It's a completely different business, different group. They are fabulous. It is a training program for people who aren't runners and want to learn how to actually run a 5K. And so it's a program that's, 4 to 12 week program, depending on what you choose to do, that says, on Monday, do this walking, on Tuesday, do this walking and jogging, on Wednesday, do this, That's what Couch to 5K is. This is not what that is. We are not going to go through any of the Couch to 5K running training programs. If you want to do those, do a Google search on them. They're great. They're great support, but they are just the workout plan, and they assume that you are completely able-bodied and don't have any previous health issues or health injuries or other things that you're working through. So keep that in mind if you look them up. But if you are thinking that you would never ever do a 5K, or that the idea of doing one is intimidating, let me tell you, I hear you, I get you. I grew up so intimidated by these runners myself that I never ever once was in an event with a bib number pinned to my shirt until my mid-20s ever. And when you say bib number, that's like when you see quote unquote athletes who have these big numbers on a piece of paper that are pinned to their belly. That's what I'm talking about. It's an event like that has one of those. And the first time that I ever did a 5K race per se, I was so nervous. I signed up, I got my bib number, I pinned it on me, and I felt like a complete imposter. I looked around at all these people who just looked like they were in great shape, and I kind of looked like them too, even though I didn't feel like it. It was my first 5K ever, and it just felt so important and so intense, and the bell went off and we all ran, and I ran as hard as I could, and made myself miserable doing it, was proud of myself at the end, and then realized there is absolutely nothing mysterious about a bib number. It's not magical. It doesn't make you any faster or any slower or any better of a human being. So if that's you, if you have never ever before worn a bib number for an event, don't let that intimidate you. So have you searched through? Have you done your Google search? Have you found a 5K race near you? First of all, 5K, let's talk through some of these logistics here. If you're thinking about doing your first 5K, a 5K is just barely over 3 miles. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, can you do 3 miles? And most people say, you know what? Maybe I can. I'm not sure if I can, but maybe I can. The general rule of thumb is if you can walk for an hour and a half without stopping, you can do a 5K. Now, I know, those of you who are doing the math, you're like, an hour and a half for a 5K, that's way too long. I know. What I'm saying is for somebody who's never ever done a 5K and they want to be abso-freaking-lutely sure that they could finish any 5K, no matter what, finish it, then go for a walk. If you can walk for an hour and a half, you're good. Now, most people are going to finish their 5K in way faster than that. So let's take a closer look at some of the details that'll set us up for success. But wait a minute. Don't these races have cutoff times? What if I get there and I get to the start line, I've got my bib number and I walk as fast as I can, but I'm a really slow walker. And then I'm at the way back and then they close down the race and I'm not even done and they close down the finish line before I even get to the end. I hear ya. That is a real concern and that could actually happen. So here's what you do to make sure that that doesn't happen. Head over to the website of the 5K event, and for any major event, you'll see when the race starts, and they call it a race, but it's not really a race. It's only a race for the few elite people at the very front who are actually running the things. The rest of us, we're just there to have a good time. See what time it starts, and then see what time the cutoff is. So you'll see something that either says cutoff time or end time, or you have to finish by this certain time. I've looked at a million of these races, and pretty much all of them, they want people to come. They want people to succeed. They want people to finish because they know, race organizers know, it would be horrible to not finish before the race ends. So race organizers do everything they can to make sure that everybody gets through the finish line. And race organizers know that they want to make it a good time for people, and that some folks need a lot of time to walk. So for the most part, these 5K races, they call them races, don't worry, events. These 5K events, for the most part, give a 30-minute per mile pace to finish. So that means that they are assuming the very slowest person doing this event is doing it at a 30-minute per mile pace. So now what you need to do is figure out, can you walk at a 30-minute mile pace? Most people can, but I'm not interested in most people right now. I'm interested in the people who are on the bubble wondering, they just are recovering from an injury, or they're getting back into things, or they're really slow and they still, you want to get out and enjoy these things and have it be a positive experience. That's who I'm talking to right now. So if that's you, here's how you can know if you can do the 30-minute mile pace. Head over to a track. Almost every local middle school and high school in the nation has a track. That's that football field, right? Those tracks, if it goes around a football field, are 1/4 of a mile. Go to the track, pick your starting point, and do a brisk walk once around the track and time yourself. So get a stopwatch, use your phone, whatever you need. Time yourself doing 1 lap around the track, and err on the side of making it a little too easy, because this is only 1 lap around 1/4 of a mile. If you make it around 1 lap, just 1 lap in 6 minutes, you're at a 24-minute per mile pace. So you're more than beating that half hour a mile cutoff. If you go around and your time is 7.5 minutes, 7 minutes, 30 seconds, then you know it's okay to get a little bit nervous. You're sitting right at that 30-minute a mile mark, and you might not make the cutoff, or you probably will make the cutoff for the half hour per mile, but you'll be really close. If you make it around in 6 minutes, you are good to go, and you can do this and finish it. You'll probably be in the back of the pack, but who cares? Just decide right now, I don't care if I'm in the back of the pack. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to do this with my friends. I'm here to support an organization. So there it is for pace. If you can walk for an hour and a half, and if you can get around a track once in 6 minutes, then you know that you can do a 5K today. But wait, there's more. Now that you've decided you can do a 5K, I'm going to talk you through just a little bit about the whole nuts and bolt process, all the different things of doing your first 5K that you may or may not have thought about, or are just things you would only know if you've experienced this before. And if you're doing your first one, you probably have a lot of people telling you a lot of things that you should do or think about. And I'm going to really cut through a lot of that for you. So your friends who are probably giving you way too much advice, you can just do what works for you and trust you've got it. So here we go. 5 steps. I've got 5 steps to get you to the start line of any 5K. The other thing we want to look at is making sure you can do this injury-free. So you know how I mentioned you want to be able to walk an hour and a half? Make sure you can do that injury-free. So do your hour and a half walk and see how you feel throughout the walk. See how you feel the next day. And if nothing is tweaking on you, if your hips are feeling good, your joints are feeling good, you're probably going to be completely fine. But if they are talking to you or causing some issues, really look at if it's a muscular issue, sore muscles, that might be okay. But if it's joints or tendons, get that looked at to really stay on top of it, because injury-free is the fastest path to progress. Now that we know we can finish a 5K event, there are 5 steps to get you to the start line. Step number 1, registration. I'm going to save you a few bucks here. Pretty much every 5K event, they want people to start registering earlier so they can get a sense of how many people are going, and also to build hype. And, if you register, you might get a friend to register. So the earlier that process can start, the better. And they also know that the closer you get to the event, the more likely you are to bail on it because something else comes up and crowds it out. So almost every event has a early bird discount. So when you're looking at events coming up, if you see one for next weekend, it's probably going to cost more than an event that's happening a few months from now. So take a look at that and register early if you can, because it's cheaper. Sometimes it's as much as half price, or it's half price plus you get a t-shirt. Sometimes not, but a lot of times. Then after you register, step 2 is this whole process called packet pickup, and every race calls it the same. It's packet pickup. And essentially what that means is you need to be able to get your bib number, which is that piece of paper with the big number that you pin onto your shirt for the event. What that bib number does is it tells the event organizers that, yes, you have paid to do this event. You're not free riding or freeloading it. And it also is a way for photographers to take photos, and then they can, give you an email and try to sell you photos that they've taken of you. And sometimes they're actually really cool. Also in your packet, sometimes vendors will be able to put in advertisements or special deals. And if the event has a t-shirt or some giveaways, that comes in the packet too. That's why they call it packet pickup. Every single event I've ever seen, the details for packet pickup are always in your registration confirmation. So look at the email you get from the event folks. And in there, it'll say where you can pick up your packet. And depending on how large the event is, usually the packet pickup is done in person at a store or an outlet somewhere. And many times they have it in several different places. So just look for the times and availability for that. And some events, if you register early enough, they will actually mail it for a fee to you. Personally, a lot of times I'll pay to have it mailed to me, because then it just saves me running a whole errand to pick up my packet ahead of time. Most events also have what they call the day of packet pickup, where you can go before the event and pick up your packet. If you choose to do that, just know it's a total pain, because these events start early. The lines are long. It's cold in the morning, at least in Seattle it is. And it just is one more piece of logistics that you have to deal with. So if you can avoid packet pickup in the morning, please do get your packet picked up. Say that 10 times fast. Packet pickup, a couple days before. All right. So you've got your bib. You know that that's going to be pinned on the front of you no matter what you're wearing. And then a few days before the event, you'll want to hydrate and start sleeping well. This is where, if you have runner friends giving you all kinds of advice for your first 5K, be wary. What you want to do is nothing too radically different from what you normally do, because it is a 5K, 3 miles, and your body does not need or want you doing anything totally radically different. Now, don't go out and party with your friends and show up hungover and expect to feel good at all. But do spend a few days ahead of time, really do, thinking about hydrating. Then the night before the event, back in the good old days, we used to do something called carbo loading, where we would eat piles of pasta and bread and, big pints of ice cream to load up on carbs. And we thought that was a good thing to do. And now we've realized, nope. Once again, for a 5K where you're not doing elite training and elite racing, just don't throw your body into any kind of shock. Don't do a massive carbo load. Pretty much just eat what you normally eat. If you're super nervous, maybe don't overdo it on the fiber the night before, but do still eat healthy. Don't overeat. Get yourself a good night's sleep. Then, the morning of the event. Okay. You want to get up early. And when I say get up early, it is going to feel like the butt crack of dawn, let me tell you, because these events are always early and you have to show up early on top of them being early, and you have to find parking on top of that. Also, what you do want to do is force yourself to eat breakfast. So give yourself plenty of time to eat a good breakfast. Give yourself plenty of time to hydrate. And then here is one pro tip. If I could give you one newbie pro tip that you will thank me for, it's this. If you don't want to have to go to the bathroom halfway through your 5K race, I actually stop drinking anything about an hour and a half before the race. And that's why the hydration the 2 days before becomes important. That's why eating a healthy meal and drinking lots of liquids the night before. And that's why getting up super early is important. Because if you stop drinking liquids at least an hour and a half before the start of the event, then when you get to the race, you can find the porta potties and do your one last business along with everybody else who is doing the exact same thing. And then when the race starts, you're going to be able to get through the whole 5K event without splitting a gut. And let me tell you, that is a beautiful thing. And if something does happen and you do need to use the restroom halfway through, don't worry. They do always have some porta potties available for you. You will be fine. It is okay. And then once the event gets started, when you get to water stations, you're going to be able to drink as much as you want and you'll be perfectly fine till the end of the event. Yeah, I got to tell you, one time I was so happy I did this because I was just having some GI issues in general, and I made a bad choice for dinner. I ate a big plate of gnocchi, and I knew I shouldn't have because it was gnocchi's full of wheat, but I didn't care because I was just doing this event that was fun with friends. And then the next morning I did my thing of stopping drinking anything an hour and a half before the event. And oh my goodness, I am so glad because a couple things were going on. One, the event was at a venue where I thought it was going to be really cold. And so I only brought my warm tights to wear. And we realized it was going to be more than 90 degrees outside and I was going to die in my tights. So one of my friends loaned me a spare running skirt that she had. It was, thank you, Lori, for doing that. I so appreciate it to this day. But I made Lori kind of nervous because we get to the start line and I was just having some GI issues and I was in that porta potty line like 3 times. And the third time I went to the porta potty line before the event happened, my friend Lori looked at me at wearing her skirt. She said, "Are you going to be okay?" And I looked at her and said, "I don't know. We'll find out." And what ended up happening was because I stopped drinking and because it allowed some time for my system to slow down, by the time the race actually started, I was completely fine. Thank God. And it all worked out just fine. So yes, that's a long story of saying 90 minutes before the event, my number one pro tip for you is to quit drinking. All right. So that's a lot of logistics for you. But remember, the race coordinators want big crowds to come to their events. And so they are doing all kinds of things to make these runs fun. There is bubble runs, there's color runs, there's fun runs, there's Cupid dashes, there's lard butt dashes, there's everything under the map now because they want you to have a great time. And also know that the gear you wear, it really doesn't matter. Just wear what's comfortable for you. If you want to bring a camera and take pictures and selfies along the way, go for it. If you want to sneak some snacks in your pockets for the road, go for it. Just make it fun for you. I mean, heck, you can even wear a small backpack for this thing. Nobody will care. Do what works for you. Layered clothing. Bring a backpack to throw extra layers in. Who cares? You'll see a lot of people in just teeny tiny shorts and tank tops. But if you really look around for these fun events, that's not the majority of the people. And also take a look at these events too. Some of them, if you're really looking for a friendly, low-key one, look and see, does it allow people to bring strollers and push their kids along? Does it allow people to bring their pets and their dogs? If you see a stroller-friendly, dog-friendly event, you know that it's going to be at least a 30-minute per mile opening, and it'll be lots of low-pressure, low-key fun. All right, so let's do a really quick recap. You think that you would hate ever doing a 5K event, but now you're realizing you did the 1 lap around the high school track, and you did a 5.5-minute pace around that track. And you know you're good to go. And you went for a walk for an 1.5 hours and you're injury free. And then you looked and you found an event that had strollers and dogs allowed. And it's called a color run and it looks like so much fun. Guess what? That's the event for you to do. And if you're listening to this saying, you know what? I really wish I could do one of these events, but I'm just not there. Then there's an opportunity for you. If you can't do one of those events, take a look at volunteer opportunities because there are a lot of them. All of these events are pretty much staffed by volunteers and they need folks to help with water stations, setup, tear down, registration. And so there's a lot of different opportunities where you can actually join in on the fun and just be around the great vibe of it all. And it'll get you outside and get you around a bunch of people who are just having a good time and smiling. And that could be exactly the way for you to be included. And then someday when your body lets you, you can join one of these. And I promised you at the end of all of this, I would tell you that if you decided that a 5K was not something you could do, but you really wanted to do something fun, let me tell you about a string of events that's coming up. And if you're in the Seattle area or the Bay Area, this could be exactly the event for you. And I will be at it this year. It is called the Lard Butt 1K. Yes, 1K. How much is 1K? It's like 0.62 miles. So it's not even a mile. This event is completely accessible, so wheelchairs, strollers, absolutely join. And instead of water stations, they have, no joke, every 250 meters, a donut station. Yes. So they have, I think it's 4 different donut stations on the 5K. And to thoroughly hydrate before the event, they have a beer garden. Yes. A 9 a.m. beer garden. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. It is a hoot. It's fun. I've gone before. Some people ask, are you making fun of fat people with the Lard Butt 5K? No, not at all. It's in great humor, and the vibe of the people is so refreshing because anybody who wants to actually run the 1K, they put them in the front. They call it the show off wave. And we make sure that we boo the runners. It's just a ton of fun, a great big party, a great fun way to get out and be active and be around other people who just don't want to take life so damn seriously. So that I'm not sponsored by them in any way. They didn't pay me to say that, but I just want to let you know the Lard Butt 1K in Seattle is coming up, usually in June. So look that up and find me there. Alrighty now. I hope that this logistically intense podcast has encouraged you to think about trying your own first 5K. And if you do, let me know. Send me a picture. Tell me how it goes. I want to know. It just is what I'm about. This is my life's mission, is to inspire people to get out there and do stuff, and especially stuff that makes them smile. So let me know at Lynn, Lyn, at couchtoactive.com. That's couchtoactive.com. Did you know that I work with people one-on-one in coaching? If you really want to get your active lifestyle up and running and you're finding yourself saying, enough already, I want to make this happen for me right now, no more delay, then head over to couchtoactive.com/program. Sign up for a free consultation with me, and you and I will talk about what this could look like for you in your life. This is what I live for, helping people make transformations to an active lifestyle. I'm really good at it, and the book Couch to Active has already won a Best Book Award finalist title in the health and fitness category, and I want to help you get there in a way that works for you, that makes you smile, and in a way that will stick for a lifetime. So if you're looking for somebody to get you up and going in this space, and you want to have fun while you're doing it, you know it's a really serious topic, but you also don't want to take life so damn seriously, and you have a little bit of a sense of humor, then I'm your person. Sign up for a call. We will chat about your life, what's going on. I'll listen, and we'll talk about what's next for you. And don't worry, I never do a high pressure sales anything. I, thank goodness, don't have to. And it's just not how I roll. So we look at this together, and if it makes sense, I will work with you and get you up and running. Really, truly, you are worth it. And imagine yourself 1 week from today. Look at the calendar. What's 1 week from today? Imagine yourself not listening to yet one more podcast, one more inspirational quote, but actually on the path to really making this transformation in your life now. So head over, sign up for a call with me, and we'll get you rolling. Thanks all. Bye-bye now.